All right, welcome in, guys. It's Sunday, right around what time is it? 11 a.m. Eastern time. We got 2 hours till kickoff. As you can see, it's not the same typical situation we've had here. First of all, we're not tech. We're not great tech guys, anyways. But now we're in a situation down here. I'm in Western North Carolina, and we got hit by that hurricane. So we have been going on 3 days now, no power. But here we are. We're still going to do this thing. We're still giving you guys plays, still doing our research. LJ is up in Maine, so he's fine. He hasn't been hit by this hurricane like I have. So he's done a lot more digging than I have over the past week or so, and he's got some really good plays for you. But I do still have a few that I think will be good opportunities for you guys to capitalize on, especially in DFS, but also guys you can probably go grab off the waiver wire right now and start them today and get that. LJ, how's it going?
Good morning. I'm sorry to hear about all the destruction. It looks like Asheville is completely underwater. Holy moly.
Almost completely gone. You can't get out of there and you can't get in there. And that's about 2 hours west of me. But even where I'm at, just north of Charlotte, is no power, zero power. I didn't even have service on my phone until up to yesterday afternoon.
Well, let's sorry to hear about all that up there, man. I hope that gets some power on to today or tomorrow. But if not, with me and BB will put you up at the Residence Inn.
Well, the show must go on, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, folks, I've been doing my homework. I watched a bunch of podcasts from other guys. I studied everything that I could get my hands on. I'm ready.
All right.
And so what we got going this week is a bunch of opportunities. And what we've talked about is opportunities. Now, yeah, I understand a guy like Jahan Dotson up to this point has been on the field a lot, and he's been doing nothing but running wind sprints because he hadn't caught a friggin' ball. So I don't know what the guy's going to do today, but there's two wide receivers out in Philadelphia, two. And they can't throw every ball to Goddard. And so you got Brown out, you got Smith out, you got Goddard playing, you got some 6'6" kid from Florida State named Johnny Wilson. I don't know a heck of a lot about him. He was okay in college. I couldn't recommend him, but I would say if someone got guts, play him. I don't know. I couldn't recommend him, though.
Well, he's certainly going to get opportunities. He's going to be out on the field.
He should be out on the field, him, Dotson, and Paris Campbell. And I can tell you, just a personal point on Paris Campbell. I played the guy before, and he got me a great big 0.
If I were to pick one of those three guys, I would pick Dotson based on just, he's a first-round draft pick. I've seen him have big games and good games when he was with Washington.
Well, yeah.
There's going to be opportunity for him today. Like he's going to throw the ball.
He showed a real good nose for the end zone when he was a rookie. 7 touchdowns as a rookie, and I know different quarterback and the guy more inclined to run in Daniels, but you still can't take that first round pedigree away. He got drafted in the first round for a reason. He was really good in college. Okay, so. Usually that translates to the NFL, particularly in wide receivers. So,
going to pass to somebody.
Yeah, you got to throw to somebody. I wouldn't start him myself, but
going to be out there. I'd bet you he's out there 90+% of snaps.
Yeah, we could be talking about the next Juwan Jennings with this guy. I don't know, but the one I would start, and the one that I'm confident in, and the one that I believe strongly is going to get 10+ targets, and the one that could find the end zone is Michael Wilson. That situation could not be any better. You got an elite wide receiver, I understand that, and Marvin Harrison, but he's also a rookie, and they're also going to take him out or try to take him out. I don't know if you can or not, but they're going to try. That's going to leave Wilson and Dortch with man coverage. And Wilson's a big kid. He's fast, 6'2", 215 pounds. I feel like he's primed for a really good game. And if you went out and got him, and he's only 7% rostered at this point, 7% of people are starting him in the entire fantasy world.
Not
7, in my opinion, smart guys. The same percentage, for instance, started Juwan Jennings last week. How'd that work out for the other 97?
You're not talking about starting. You're talking about rostered.
No, I'm talking about starting. 7% are starting Wilson.
Starting him?
Yep. He's rostered in 17%.
Okay. Huh.
So, I would highly recommend that you guys play him if you have him. And Dortch is not a bad play either. So either one of those guys is a good play. I prefer Wilson, but we'll see.
And if you're also Dortch is actually more expensive than Wilson on DFS. So Wilson's a good guy to throw out there if you need someone who's not going to cost you much, but is going to have a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, I like Wilson on DFS a lot. I like Trey Tucker on DFS too. Trey Tucker's another one we want to talk about. So Trey Tucker, Devontae Adams, he just mysteriously showed up like Friday, and by the time Saturday he's done. So, that elevates two guys, in my opinion. It certainly elevates Bowers. If you have Bowers, you're in for a good day.
Hopefully.
And if, in DFS, though, Bowers is overowned. Good Lord. I looked on there. He's crazy. Him and Goddard are off the charts owned. So
everyone's going to pick those two today.
Yeah. So, but it's a good play. So you got, I think it's a good play. Another one that we've talked about quite a bit on Tuesday, I think. Did we speak about Emmanuel Wilson? I think we did. Yeah, Emmanuel Wilson, the backup running back in Green Bay.
Yeah.
He had a nice little 13-point fantasy week last week, scored a touchdown, ran a screen pass in for a touchdown, had more touches than Josh Jacobs. So he's one, again, we told you last week to get him if you had Jacobs. So, again, we want to reiterate that he is out there in 87% of your leagues available. Mike, besides both those Wilson boys are good pickups, Michael and Emmanuel. One that I found very interesting, and a lot of you may have him because he's 70% owned, Dalton Schultz. If you got the guy playing today, because I'm telling you, I looked it up. He doesn't play. He hadn't done nothing all year. So that's the bad news. The good news is he really doesn't do much anymore except when Dell's out. And Dell's out today. So if you got him, you might want to play him. Also, with McBride being out in Arizona, tight end, if you need another tight end, Elijah Higgins is available.
Yeah,
they're going to throw the ball a lot.
Well,
so he might.
That game's over. Under is set at 50 points. So I think it's gonna, it could be a shootout.
Yeah, I like Higgins if you need a tight end. Okay, the next guy, I think he's right there with Wilson, Michael Wilson. This guy, Xavier Legette from the Panthers. Okay, a lot of things had to fall in place for me to come to this conclusion, though, because, first off, we have Deontay Johnson, who with a decent quarterback's going to dominate the targets. So you're going to have but he's injured. Now, I think he's going to play, but he's not 100%. Then you got Thielen. He's gone. He's out. He's on the IR. So, and then you got Mingo, who after Thielen went out last week, Legette played every single snap. So, and he had a good game. I think he caught 7 passes for 64 yards or something like that. So My only precaution is, and me and Friedman talked about this, everyone's ready to go out and make Andy Dalton, Patrick Mahomes Jr. Well, here's the problem. Andy Dalton can suck too. Holy moly. Tell us about it, Friedman.
Yeah, Andy Dalton's been bad. I've seen Andy Dalton have some terrible, terrible games. Also, I think Cincinnati really, really needs a win. And I think they're going to win that game, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that defense come out there and shut Carolina down today, to tell you the truth.
I wouldn't either. So that's my caution with Leggett. Everything's in place for him to be successful, except Dalton. Now, if Dalton comes out and plays like he did last week, but it's a totally different team, Cincinnati's in desperation mode. They have to win. So, my only caution is Dalton may be sitting on his Katukas most of the game. And you can't throw the football from your while you're sitting on the turf. So, but going forward, though, even if you don't play Leggett today, this is a guy to get in your roster if you need a wide receiver. The other one is Roschon Johnson, running back from Chicago. This whole Chicago running back core is a mess. Nobody's been any good. It started out the season, Johnson didn't play at all. Swift has been terrible. I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know if they're giving up on Swift or not. They said, and again, these coaches it's coach speak, but they said, oh, well, we're going to try to figure out or give him a little bit more of a reign. I'm going to play him today. I'm one of the stupid guys probably, but I'm going to play him today in 1 week and see what happens. I don't think the Bears have any choice but to go somewhere else. What do you think, Friedman?
Well, I think the coach said they're going to give Roschon a little more run today, and I think it's smart. You just don't know what you have with him still. You really haven't given him much of an opportunity. You gave him a small window for an opportunity, and he looked great, and then he went out with a concussion or something like that and was gone last year.
Yeah, that's right. We lost him. Remember, he was gone 4 games.
Yeah, 4 games before we even saw. And then at that point, it was, Khalil Herbert was running fine. And they're like, well, let's just – they didn't really give him games.
Well, and again, let's talk about pedigree, Friedman, because here's the thing. Me and Friedman are really high on pedigree, and that doesn't mean the pedigree has to be a guy from, Michigan or Alabama or Texas or whatever, but he needs to have talent.
Yeah.
And we're big on talent. I mean, talent, if you begin with talent, everything's easier. And so the guy's got really good pedigree.
Hey,
we like that, right?
LJ, I want to talk about this game, Pittsburgh versus Indianapolis.
All right.
Justin Fields is starting for Pittsburgh again. He's looked good. I actually like him as a streaming quarterback a lot. But I want to talk about the wide receiver core in Pittsburgh. You got George Pickens, who hasn't really had a massive game yet, and he's due. I think that could come this week. But there's another kid last week that had a really good game, and his name is Calvin Austin. What do you think about him?
We talked about him Tuesday. Calvin Austin's a small guy. He's from West Virginia, I believe, but had a good college. No, Memphis. That's where he's from, Memphis. Had an incredible college resume. Guy's jet quick. I mean, fast.
And Indianapolis is a little banged up defensive-wise, and they don't have the best defensive backs out there. I think one of those two guys is going to have a good game, a really good game this week.
Yeah, well, we've talked about Van Jefferson, and again, let me emphasize, this is not Justin Jefferson. So Pickens or Austin would be the guys I would go with there. What do you think about we've talked a lot about Bucky Irvin but I honestly with Rachaad White a little banged up coming into this game, I honestly think this might be the day. But then we got the news that Irvin was banged up a little bit. So that's the same crap that happened to Roschon Johnson last year. He got his we thought he got his opportunity. Then took it right out from him. So hopefully Irving's healthy enough to
Well,
take
Irving
the job.
by far the better rusher. I mean, not even close.
Yeah, not.
Irving's averaging over 6 yards a carry.
I know.
And last week he had another good week. He got 10 points for you in fantasy, points without scoring a touchdown. You put a touchdown in there in the mix, got 16, 17 points there. So I think he's well on his way to breaking out. And I think they're pretty much, I think they're going to give Rachaad White another chance out here to do stuff. I mean, the guy's rushing 15 times a game, getting you 33 yards. I mean,
well, I think we should. I think we probably hit on something there. I mean, McMillan hasn't proven to be very effective, and I would honestly potentially move White into that slot. He's such a natural receiver. Even looks like a wide receiver. So, and he's he's fast enough. So going into the next group of guys. There's one guy in Cincinnati today. If you need a tight end, because again, tight end has been a mess, as you all know. I mean, none of us, if you haven't had Blake Bowers, you pretty much haven't gotten crap out of your tight ends all year. I will say, I think Kelsey will step up today. So if you have Kelsey, I think he's going to.
I think today's Kelsey's day, too.
I do, too. I think they're almost embarrassed about it. So I think they're probably going to try to do something to get that alleviated today. So I feel good about that one. But Eric All, probably never heard of him. He's in Cincinnati, but he got some targets. He's playing a lot. The Gesicki thing, whatever. He's never panned out anywhere. So just take a look at Eric All. He's 1% owned. So nobody even has him. You'd be in way before everybody else. So to take a look at him. Also, I wanted to talk about a player. There's a guy out there named Jonathan Brooks. I think we've spoken about him before. He's a running back from Carolina. Now, this guy's getting ready to come off PUP, and he's not going to play. And the people that have stashed him for 4 to 5 to 6 weeks or whatever it is now, whenever their draft was, they're like, holy crap. Really?
Yeah.
So, he's not going to play immediately. And a lot of these people are going to drop him because they don't believe he's going to play. Listen, if you're in a league where somebody drops Brooks, immediately pick him up. Immediately, okay? I don't think he's going to have any real fantasy value till after week 10, but he had a devastating knee injury in November last year. So he's not even a year removed from it. So these people who think he's going to start in the next week or two are gravely misinformed. But when he does come back, he's going to be very good. He was every bit as good as Bijan at Texas. Wouldn't you say, Friedman?
He was incredible at Texas. I mean, incredible. And there's a reason why he was hurt, but and was still. I think when did Carolina take him?
They didn't I think they took him in the second round, Friedman. But here's the thing. Nobody takes running backs anymore early. So he was the first running back taken, and he had a devastating knee injury. So
yeah.
That should tell you that he's the real deal. But I promise you, and I don't, I wish this podcast reached more people, but I promise you
it will.
Your people in your league are going to drop Brooks. 99% of people are completely impatient. The ones that have the patience to hold on to Brooks are going to be rewarded. And I'm telling you guys, some of you are in my league, so, I'm screwing myself, but in some cases, but I don't care. If you drafted Brooks, you need to be the one that gets the benefits out of him. Don't let him go.
Yeah.
You agree with that, Friedman?
I do. Let me tell you this, LJ. Let me tell you this, because I've been thinking about this over the past couple of days. There's a quarterback coming back this week. Been out for the past week. Love for the Packers. He's coming back this week. Like that. gave
Hey,
up.
Friedman, your mic is going in and out. Can you move?
Oh, sorry. Hey, all right. So Jordan Love is back this week, right? There are people in your leagues right now who gave up on Christian Watson. Christian Watson is good.
And Reed.
And well, I don't know if people gave up on Reed, but I know people have given up on Christian Watson. And
Dobbs and all of them, really.
all that whole wide receiver core. And Love is back this week. And if Love is healthy, all of those wide receivers get a big bump. So if anyone dropped Christian Watson in your league, pick him up because we've seen him have massive games already.
And we also, good call, Friedman. We also know that a healthy Jordan Love can throw to Dobbs, Wicks, even Watson, and Reed.
And Reed, all of them.
Yeah, he's done it. So, if somebody drops Christian Watson in my league, he won't be dropped long.
Yeah, because listen, that guy is a touchdown hog, man. Even when he doesn't do anything all game, he scores a touchdown.
Oh, I know. The guy can catch one pass for 7 yards, and it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
They're going to score more. He's going to last year he had a couple games where he scored 2 or 3 touchdowns. So if somebody dropped him, pick him up because he's going to get a lot more opportunities to score. And he had a better week than people thought last week. He only caught 2 balls, but he caught, like a 60-yard pass or something.
Oh yeah, well, and if you just go on pure talent, I mean, there's 2 guys, and you mentioned one earlier, and Watson's another one. Christian Watson and George Pickens are as talented and as fast and as big and as elusive. I mean, there's nothing. Their big problem has been injuries in Watson's case and quarterback play in Pickens' case.
Yeah.
And a little bit of immaturity in Pickens' case as well. Watson's has been 100% injuries. The guy can't stay on the field.
Listen, I'm telling you, he's been overlooked because he hasn't done much this year. Although he has caught 2 touchdown passes in 3 weeks or something like that, but he's been severely overlooked. And I think it's very, very likely this week or next week that he has a breakout week where he catches 2 touchdowns and 100+ yards.
Friedman, I don't have any statistics to back this up, but honestly, I bet you if you look back at the last 3 years that Watson has played in terms of games played and touchdowns scored, he may be number 1.
Oh gosh, he may have as many touchdowns as he has
games played.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy scores touchdowns when he plays. Just don't play much. And this year, he's crazy. This year is the first year he's ever been healthy to start a year. And then Love goes down. So good call, Friedman. That guy's a winner. And if you can get him healthy, because Love just slings it out to him.
Yeah. I've got one more for you, LJ, and I know you're very familiar with this backfield. And they're playing a team this week that doesn't have. They've got great defensive backs, but they don't have a great defensive line. I'm talking about this guy for the Denver Broncos, Batty, who are playing the Jets.
Have you ever heard of a Bidet?
Yeah, is that his name, Bidet?
Well, that's how he pronounces it, evidently. So it's Tyler Bidet.
I like bidets. Do you?
I do. He was a Baltimore draft pick back.
I actually like the bidets. You ever used one?
I have. They're very nice too. Yeah.
But
and now you don't even have to buy $1 million house to get one. You can get one just installed. My son-in-law James has one at his house. So yeah, the only problem is that first squirt's a little cold, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a little. It's. I like it personally, but you got to get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll wake you up in the morning, won't it?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm sure you don't want to hear any more of that, but so good call on Watson. We're an hour and a half from game time, folks. I wish we could ask you any questions you have. I'm just looking over my notes to see if there's anything else I want to talk about. Oh, yeah. I wanted to just go over this real quick, Friedman. So here's the deal. McBride out with Arizona, tied in. Thielen out with Carolina. Keenan Allen in with Chicago. Tight end Njoku out with Cleveland. Pierce out with Houston. Mixon looks like he may play, believe it or not.
Yeah. Dude, you still that's a game time decision. So Cam Akers, if Cam Akers starts and Mixon is out, I think Cam Akers is a good play still.
Problem with Akers is as soon as Mixon comes back, he's useless to you.
Yeah.
So if you want one game out of the guy, yeah.
One game.
Pacheco, IR. Devontae Adams is out. Kupp and Nakua out. We didn't even get in. You want to talk briefly on these LA wide receivers? I don't even.
We told y'all who it is earlier this week.
Atwell.
It's Tutu Atwell. Look for him to, get 8-9 targets this week, maybe more than that, because they're going to probably be down. Put him on your bench. I don't know if I'd play Atwell this week unless you need him, but there's better options. We like Wilson better than him to start.
Leggett.
We like Leggett better than him to start this week as well.
I like Tucker better.
Yeah.
Tucker from I'm just getting ready to get into that. So Tua's out. Kamara's playing. Olave. What's the latest on Olave? He was a late injury. He's playing.
He's in, but he's got a hamstring injury. So if we know anything about those, is there's a high risk that he goes out halfway through that game because he re-injures his hamstring injury. I'm not playing him in my leagues, but I've also got other good wide receivers there. But if you have to play him, I think he'd still be okay.
Who would you play? Because I know A.T. Perry's hurt, and
Shaheed. If he's probably not available, but Rashid Shaheed with no Olave we should have a big game.
Well, Shaheed just got a great big 0 last week.
I know, but he can't possibly do that this week.
You wouldn't think. All right, so Philadelphia, both Smith and Brown are out. Pittsburgh, Warren's out. So I know Najee Harris is an extremely frustrating guy. I had him last year. I get it. I understand. And anybody that plays for Arthur Smith is frustrating. But play Harris today, for crying out loud. It may be his best game of the year.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So McCaffrey's out. Samuel's in, the last I heard, right? And Kittle in, right?
Samuel and Kittle are in, so.
And Walker from Seattle's in. So dump Charbonnet.
Yeah, well, keep him because
not that. Yeah, but don't play him today.
Don't play Charbonnet, but there's a good chance that Walker gets hurt again. He's always hurt.
Okay, so on McBride, the beneficiaries of McBride being out are Wilson, Dortch, Higgins, and Harrison Jr. Thielen being out, primarily Leggett and Mingo. Keenan Allen being expected to play the guys it takes from, okay? It takes from McConkey. I mean, not McConkey. It takes from Odunze, and it takes from DJ Moore.
Okay. To tell you the truth. Listen, Keenan Allen's getting older. He's kind of just a morale guy, I think, just a veteran on the field. I still think Odunze is just such a talent that after last week's game, they're probably thinking to themselves, we got to get this guy the ball.
Well, but I mean, did you see the last half of last year when Allen just went crazy?
Yeah.
At 31 years old. That keeps registering in the back of my mind because I think I played Keenan Allen constantly during that stretch against him, and it was 20 points every day. But I don't think he's there either. Don't get me wrong.
But that was Herbert too, and Herbert and Keenan, great thing going. I just think, listen, I just think you want that young, you want Odunze. In fact, I would start Odunze with confidence this week, even though I don't think it's going to be a huge week. I think you're still going to get the targets there for him.
I don't even think I'd start Keenan Allen.
I wouldn't. I would not play Keenan Allen.
Okay, so we also, again, in these 2 quarterback leagues, I would be remiss to say if you got a a quarterback need, or you're playing a position player at the quarterback position, I bet you can go right out in most leagues and grab Huntley right now.
Yeah,
And the thing about it is, Huntley is probably going to, at the end of the day, with 32 starting quarterbacks, my guess he's going to end up around 15 or 16. What's your guess, Friedman?
Yeah, I think he's probably going to rush for 50, 60 yards and maybe pass, for 150 and a touchdown.
Yeah, so, and he's got dynamic people. The thing is, you don't have to give Waddle, you don't have to throw him a 50-yard pass. You can throw him a 5-yard pass, and they can take it to the house. So,
going to get open.
Yeah, if you're playing super flex and you got a quarterback need, Huntley does not scare me. Honestly, I would play him. The quarterback play this year sucked.
Yeah,
So
play Huntley this week. If you have a two quarterback league, super flex, I'd play Huntley because you have you got a pretty decent floor, I think, on Huntley.
Yeah, I think he's, and also I wanted to give you my take on the Kansas City running back situation, which has gotten extremely complicated.
Oh, man,
it's so complicated, but it's Steele, Perine, Hunt, and now Edwards-Helaire will be available to come back next week, and then they have a bye week in week 6. My guess is, pure guess, they're going to give Kareem Hunt a pretty good run today and see what he's got, and then they're going to go into the bye week, the week 5. We're going to know what they're going to do week 5. This is another test week. And if Steele and Hunt and Perine are all going to play this week, so I don't think you play any of them.
The unfortunate thing is I thought Steele played pretty well last week. 17 rushes for 72 yards, averaged 4.25 per carry. Why not just let this guy run with it? What do they want more? What more do they want?
Well, they're pretty okay with an average quarterback, because that's fantasy wise. That's all he is. Mahomes is average.
Yeah, but I mean, what more could they want? They put out Steele. He rushed 17 times for 72 yards. What do you want? What did what do you want? I mean,
I don't think they're down on Steele. Do you?
Well, it seems like they're giving other guys some opportunity, but why not just say, "Hey, listen, nice game. We're gonna run with you." Why even bring?
Well, I think here's what I think, that these guys are so concerned about talent that they find it somewhat, and Andy Reid's probably one of the better guys, but they find it somewhat inexplicable that an undrafted free agent would lead their entire backfield. Yeah. I don't think that's crazy, and I don't think Reid thinks it's crazy either, but somebody probably in the front office is pushing Hunt and these guys and Perine. So I think Steele and Mahomes would go I think Reid and Mahomes would run with Steele. They had the total call on it.
Good. I think they should run with Steele and then just have Perine back there to catch balls every now and then. Do the same thing.
Hunt wasn't any good in Cleveland. He's the only thing that saved Hunt in Cleveland was he scored 9 touchdowns. But other than that, he did nothing.
Oh, I know. I had him. He
had 2.1 yards. He's terrible.
Oh, I know. He'd rushed the ball at the 3-yard line 3 times before he finally got in.
I know, and that he's talking a bunch of smack about he's going to be really good and how he's excited. So I think we're going to find out a little bit today. Or when is that game? Is that tonight?
Yeah,
tonight.
I like Steele a lot, man. I think he's got a lot to play for, and I think he comes out here and makes the most of his opportunities today. He's not the most talented. He's not the fastest guy, but he's pretty damn big, and he can break tackles.
Hey, look. He landed in the right spot. That Andy Reid likes guys like that. He'll be fine. I don't know if he's going to be. We may be talking about at the end of the year, him being the starter from this. I think they'll come out of the bye week. Week 6 is their bye. I think week 7 we're going to know what their plan is offensively. Don't you, Friedman?
Yeah. I do. I mean, and they're good regardless because they have Mahomes, and he's not he hasn't been the best fantasy quarterback, but he wins games.
Now, we're going to check out here in a minute because we know you got get ready for the games and all. Don't forget about Strange, the tight end, to back up Ingram. Strange, I mean,
Yeah, he's out again, right?
Yeah, Ingram's out. So, and just any sneaky good plays I see. Let me see if I see any more that I want to hit on. I think we're good. But remember, we called Jennings. We called Quentin Johnston. Now, here's the thing.
Told him about Deontay.
Wait a minute now. Friedman, listen to this. Here's the thing. We went with 2 touchdowns with Johnston. We went with 3 with Jennings. Are we going 4 today with somebody?
Well, who would it be? Wilson?
I mean, 2, 3, 4. I mean, somebody might get 4 today. I don't know who the heck it's going to be, but
so who are your sneakiest best?
I like my sneakiest bets are everything's going to have to go perfect for Leggett, but I like Leggett and I like Wilson. I like Wilson the most.
Yeah. I like Roschon Johnson to show up today and have a decent game. I really do. If they give him the opportunities, I like Roschon Johnson to get in the end zone against that Rams defense. And like I said, I don't know why, but I just have this feeling that George Pickens and Christian Watson have good games today.
I think the matchups are good, and I think there's Fields is starting to look a little better, and Love's back. They should have big games if they're the players that we think they are. They should. It's not a matter of if, it's when with those guys. So, yeah, I'm excited about them. And again, Tucker's sneaky now. Tucker had 6 catches for 96 yards last week and a touchdown, okay? With Minshew, with Aiden O'Connell. Devontae Adams is out. We may be sitting here saying Tucker was the star of the week. It could be Wilson. It could be Leggett. But we're talking about guys all with low ownership that have high ceilings. So, they may not. But we're everything's in place. You got to have the circumstances in place for any of this to happen to begin with. And they're in place for some of this to happen for these guys.
Oh, and my other one I like is Jahan Dotson to catch quite a few balls today. I think we're going to see him catch balls. And, I'm talking like 7 balls, 75 yards, maybe a touchdown.
Well, I don't see how he doesn't. I mean, they can't throw every ball to Goddard.
Goddard can't have 170 again this week, can he?
Listen, Goddard was nothing in that offense until
Goddard away, the week prior.
Yeah, he got dropped. People were dropping Goddard.
I know. All right, well, let's sign off. I'm gonna get this up, and then we'll.
One more thing, Friedman. I watched a guy, and I wanted to talk about him real quick. And I'm not making fun of him. It could happen to me today. But I watched a guy today. He was talking to his podcast. Had a lot of viewers. And he was telling them, this was on Thursday, before the Thursday night game. He said, listen, go out and play Singletary. Get there as much Singletary as you can possibly get. He's going to go off. Dallas cannot stop the rush. Dallas can't do this. Dallas can't. Singletary. I think he's going to score more points than anyone this whole week, Singletary. And he even said, and I caveat that by saying I don't like Thursday night games, but I'm taking exceptions for this game because it's such a great matchup for Singletary. You know how many points Singletary got, Friedman?
2.
1.5. So great. I would have never bought in. I didn't believe Singletary was going to go. I mean, I guess it was in the realm of possibilities, but my point is it was good circumstances and everything looked like everybody's been running down Dallas's throat. Didn't happen. So even when you have good circumstances, sometimes doesn't happen, but you do your best you can. You do your homework, you prepare, you figure it out, you look at it, you put the guy out there, and then nothing else you can do.
Yeah, listen,
right?
What we do is we look at opportunities. And if opportunity's there, then there could be a good chance that the person performs, but it doesn't always happen.
Now, it doesn't always happen for various reasons. And a lot of times, like in Dalton's case, if it doesn't happen for Leggett today, my suspicion is it won't happen for Johnson either, that Dalton will be picking his butt off the turf all day.
Yeah.
So anyway, have a great game day. We'll be back. When are we coming back, Friedman?
We'll be back for waiver wires probably on Tuesday night.
All right, fantastic.
All right, I'm going to see how I can get this uploaded, guys. So bear with me. I'm hoping I can get it done.
All right, thanks, Friedman.